Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how you can get through a rut. Now I'm going to put a little bit of a disclaimer before I get into it, and the reason why I titled this video how to get through a rut and not out of it is because I think that going through it is a much more healthier approach than wanting to get out of it. I think there's just more benefit when you just accept kind of where you are and just try to manage through it rather than try to get out of it. That's the reason why I decided to title this video how to get through a rut and not necessarily how to get out of a rut. In this video, I'll be mentioning 4 tips on how to get through a rut. And the first tip that I have is to gain self-awareness. Now, you want to be able to at least have some time to yourself, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, before you go to bed or in the morning, to just really think about the things that you are doing in your life and the things that you're not doing in your life. And this will help you gain some sort of sense of self-awareness, because usually when you're in a rut or when you're at a really low point in your life, you don't really think about the things that you're doing. Like, a lot of the times we operate from autopilot, so we kind of just are on a routine, or we have certain habits that just have been accumulating, and they may not be the healthiest habits, so it's really important to just take some sort of pause and really reflect on yourself and gain some awareness of what you're actually doing from day to day and what you're not doing from day to day. And another thing that you can do is also label whatever emotions you're feeling. So sometimes, and this can also be the case where it's like you're in a rut and you have so many emotions, but you don't necessarily give them a label. Like, you may be feeling irritated, but you don't know why you're irritated, or you may be feeling a bit like down and you don't know why you feel so down or sad. You really want to put a label on these emotions that you're feeling and try to identify, like, okay, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling this way, and then also in turn think about what you're doing, what you're not doing. That way you're able to kind of see, okay, these are the things that I'm doing like day to day that may be good for me and maybe not great for me, and these are the things that I'm not doing day to day. And then you also want to try to label your emotions. Gaining self-awareness, especially when you're in a rut, I think helps a lot to kind of gain clarity on like why you may have even gotten into the rut in the first place, or maybe what has happened in your life currently or in the past that is now affecting you and that has put you at this point where you are at your lowest. You also want to look at how you're interacting with people. Like, are you friendly with people, or are you a bit reserved? Are you not responding to people at all? Are you kind of avoiding people? Do you get irritated when people try to talk to you? Like, recognize these things too is also going to add on to your self-awareness. And another important point I want to make is look at how you are talking to yourself. When you are unable to get out of bed, are you calling yourself lazy? Are you telling yourself, I'm just tired, that's why I'm having a hard time getting up? Or are you telling yourself like, oh, why can't you get up? You're like not productive, or you just don't do anything? Or if you make a mistake, are you hard on yourself? Like, you really want to look at how you talk to yourself, the way you interact with people, and the things that you're doing and you're not doing, and your feelings. Like, you want to consider all of these things, because these, again, will help you gain clarity on how you are doing, like, internally, and how it's affecting everyone externally, and also, like, again, how you got to this point. So the second tip that I have is to be patient with yourself. Now, when you are in a rut, or when you are in a really low point in your life, I personally think it's not the best idea to try to rush yourself into getting out of it, only because you can rush yourself, but then you really haven't done the actual work to figure out why you are at the lowest point, or why you are feeling the way you are, or why you have changed into maybe a completely different person that you don't recognize. It's better to really just go with the flow, really just look at your situation. Like I mentioned earlier in my first tip, is to gain self-awareness, because once you're able to gain self-awareness, then you're able to realize, oh, maybe I'm doing this and it's not really good for me, or maybe I'm talking to this person this way and it's not really the best way to talk to somebody, or maybe this is the way I'm talking to myself and it's not helping me feel better about my situation. You're going to recognize so many things, and so once you do recognize or gain self-awareness about why you're in a rut, or why you are in like a really low point, then you really want to be patient with yourself and just not rush yourself to feel better, because you will eventually feel better. Up until then, you just really need to recognize where you are and what you can do at that moment and at that time. It's also important to be gentle with yourself and to not compare yourself with other people. take this from me, like last year I was really like, it was a rough year. Okay, it was a rough year for me, and there were many times where I just was not talking to myself in the best way like possible. Like I was really harsh, really mean to myself. And doing that again, it's not going to help you get out of that rut or get out of that low point. Rather, when you're much more gentler with yourself, you're able to actually do more and actually like feel a bit more comfortable, a bit more ease, and a bit more even like confident to like push forward, because you're being kind to yourself, you're being gentle, you're telling yourself, you know what, yes, you're tired right now, but if you just get up and do this, then it'll work out. Or you can tell yourself, you know what, yes, you made that mistake, but it's okay, now you know, and you can move on. When you have that kind of self-talk with yourself, I mean, you're essentially parenting, like yourself. You're telling yourself like a parent would tell their child if they made a mistake or if they're upset. You kind of have to call yourself in that sort of way. Like you have to have that inner relationship with yourself. When you have that sort of self-talk within yourself, it makes things a lot more easier. I'm telling you, it makes things a lot more easier than being hard on yourself. Because I used to be the person thinking, oh, if I talk to myself hard enough, then I'm gonna get, but it just, you can easily become your own worst enemy. So rather than doing that, talk to yourself kindly, be gentle with yourself, and don't compare yourself to other people. Like, other people are at different levels for different reasons, and different things have happened to them so that they are at those levels. So the third tip that I have is to pray to Allah. Like pray to Allah, especially during this time. I think when you're in a rut or in a really low point of your life, it's like the absolute best time to pray to Allah. I mean, anytime is the best time to pray to Allah, but I know especially when you're in your low place, like in a low point of your life, it can really feel like everything's crashing onto you, the weight is on your shoulders. And so in this moment in time, it is best to talk to Allah, be honest with Him about your emotions. Even if you feel like they're like the most ugliest, or you feel ashamed to even say it out loud, say it to Him. He created you in the first place. He knows what you're feeling anyways. Like, there's nothing really that you could hide from Him that He doesn't already know, because He already knows. So just tell Him like, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I'm emotional, I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm anxious. Like, tell Him all the feelings that you're feeling, tell Him all the experiences that you're going through right now, and just release it all out to Him, because again, He knows everything and He wants to bring you ease. Like, Allah does not want hardship for you, He wants ease for you. And He's never going to give you something more that you can't like handle. And again, I know, like, when you hear, sometimes, like, even when I heard that, right, I'm like thinking, I don't know if I can even handle this. Like, can I really handle this? But it's like our human brains are so limited and we don't really know everything, but Allah knows everything. He knows that whatever situation that you're in, you can handle it. I mean, He gave it to you for a reason, and He gave it to you because, there could be many reasons. One of them could be to bring out something within you that is maybe dormanted, or maybe it's to simply get rid of the sins that we have done in the past. Like, there's so many reasons why we go through difficult situations, and Allah knows best which difficult situation is the best for us. Don't put your emotions within yourself or feel angry, feel frustrated with like everything that's going on within your life, and just keep it to yourself. Release it out all to Allah. Like, He wants to hear your voice. He wants to hear your voice. He wants to hear all that you're going through, and He wants to help you go through it. He wants to help you go through it and help you become an even better person from this situation. So the last tip that I have is to find things that you actually enjoy doing. And again, this is really hard, especially if you're at a low point in your life, but one thing I can definitely advise you to do is to find something that you actually enjoy, just something small. It doesn't have to be big, but something small that you actually enjoy to do, and implement it within your life. Sometimes I'll watch a YouTube video, and that makes me happy. Or sometimes I'll watch like an anime, or sometimes I'll play on my Switch, like, it makes things a lot more easier. It doesn't necessarily take the problem away, but it makes things like a lot more easier. And when you have these little things that make you happy, getting through this rut will be a lot more easier, and you'll find yourself, ironically enough, getting or feeling better more quickly than you would if you were to like try to rush yourself or not really understand what's like your situation and just focusing on, oh, I just want to feel better, whatever. You feel like you aren't doing enough in this period of your life, and you feel like, man, I'm so lazy, or I just can't do this, and I used to be able to do this and that, but all I can do is this one thing. Your best is enough. If you only have energy to do a certain amount of tasks, or if you only have energy to do certain amount of things, then just give yourself a pat on the back, congratulate yourself, and the next day try to do a little bit more. And if you can't, again, your best is enough, okay? Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't hard on you. It's that one hadith that goes like, if you go to Allah walking, he goes running. If you give him a handspan, he gives you an arm's length. So it's like any little effort that you do, anything that you try to do, like Allah will like compensate and do like even more, you know? So it's the same thing with everything else, you know? Like if you give your best effort in whatever it is, then surely like Allah recognizes that and he'll help you through that to go even further. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoy the tips that I gave. If there are any other tips that you have on how to get through a rut, then please write them in the comment section below. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye. She's back. Okay. Oh my god, imagine that's my thumbnail. She's back.